Hi, I'm Jamie. This is Dead Dodge Garage, and I've got an empty Ram truck. Again. And you know what that means. That means it's time to pick up another Mopar project that I don't have time for. This one's pretty special. It's super rare. Notice I didn't say like valuable or desirable, but it is rare. No, it's not a K car or a K car derivative, but it is from the 80s. No, not that. It's this terribly beat, crusty thing that kind of looks like a poor imitation of a Fox Body Mustang. It's supposed to say Dodge on it here, and it's supposed to say Challenger there, but obviously it doesn't anymore. Ooh, snacks. We're gonna muscle it out of this hole here, behind this fabulous Volvo thingy, and then we'll get it up on the Ram truck, drag it home, and we'll take a closer look. Nice. Well, that's not ideal. Okay, well, it's on there somehow. You ever do something and just instantly regret it? Well, at least I own a 1981 Dodge Challenger now, whatever that is. And what that is, well, a Mitsubishi, actually. Although again, if you were to have told me this was a Fox body, I probably would have believed you. Initially, I thought this grille had been designed specifically to look more American. But no, I think this design was used in Japan, although it had a Mitsubishi logo on it. Over there, this machine was sold as the Mitsubishi Galant Lambda, which is a lot of name. Just like the Dodge Colt that came before it, this is a very, very obvious example of badge engineering. They took that Mitsubishi, slapped the Dodge name on it, changed just a couple things, and shipped it over here. One obvious difference was on the Japanese version, the mirror was on the fender, as was kind of traditional over there. On this car, it's on the door. Like the Galant Lambda, which I've been assured was actually the name of a car that was sold to humans. This is a two-door hardtop. The front and rear glass rolls down, and there's no pillar in the middle. In looking at pictures of the Japanese car, I realized these vent things weren't present. I'm sure these were added, again, to make this thing look like a Fox Body Mustang, but that got me thinking, is this a crazy body plug like was used on the Opera window Chargers with, like, fiberglass behind it? No, it's just more window. I bet that means you could pop those grill venti thingies off and this thing would be kind of handsome. Well, kinda. As you can see, this thing does have some rust in the bottom of the body. That is, of course, because they slapped the Dodge name on it. Something unfortunate happened here. And it's even worse because now the door hits it, so the two get a little bit more messed up every time you open this thing. I could fix that. I probably won't, but I could. Looking inside this thing, we can notice a couple details. First, it is a 5-speed. Yes, that's why I bought it. Also, this interior is actually kind of nice, especially for an early 80s American car. That driver's seat actually has adjustable lumbar support. This thing is also in very nice shape, which is weird. When this thing turns out to be a total hunk of garbage that won't run, I suppose I could save these seats for something else. Anyway, so overall, the good news is it's not a K car, and it gets better from there. The bad news is it got late and I'm out of time to tell you about that, so we'll pick this up another day. It's a week later and it just started raining because, of course it did. Man, I love this truck. Just the most reliable thing on planet Earth. I want you to know that, although this was not intentional, I've pretty much already done this same exact video. Blue car, stuck backwards on the Ram truck with seized brakes, not running for years. Yeah, it kind of sounds familiar. If the clutch is seized solid on this thing, I am going to lose it. Which does conveniently bring me back around to the drivetrain in this thing. I believe I've already pointed out that manual shifter and the third pedal over on this side. That's great news. Under the hood, there's, well, more news. I don't know if it's great. This, as mentioned, is a rebadged Mitsubishi car. So under the hood, not a 2.2 or a 2.5, but a Mitsubishi engine. A 2.6 with the distinction of 4G54B. It's got oil in it, and it's even full, so that seems promising. I can't say I know a whole lot about Mitsubishi engines. I do know that everyone on the internet says the 54 is not a great one. There were boosted versions of this engine. Of course, we don't have one of those here. How I wish that we did. The general consensus is that the boosted 4G54 is not great, so I guess there's that. You may not know that I spent some time as a regular late model mechanic, but I did. And one thing I recognized under here, the oil filler cap. I think they stuck with that exact design for many, many years. I have it on authority that the original carburetors used on these things are goofy, finicky, and hard to source parts for now. So the good news is, the previous owner went ahead and swapped a Weber under the hood. The crappy original is actually in the Weber box in the trunk, and it'll stay there. The more I look at this thing, the worse it gets. Rear-mounted antenna. So it's pretty much a Challenger TA. Dang it, there was a really cool feature I wanted to bring your attention to while I was filming that I completely forgot. Originally, the trunk lid was the antenna in this car. It's mounted on nylon bushings and wired to the radio. I'm assuming that didn't work very well, which is the reason for the aftermarket antenna here. Neat, and also hilarious. I know nothing about this engine, nothing about its operational history, about what was going on with it when it was parked, abandoned, and eventually sent to the junkyard. I do know that this general layout strongly resembles a Toyota engine, like a 22R, and I like that. Actually, that reminds me. A couple years ago, I briefly owned an 85 Toyota Celica, 22RE under the hood, the E standing for electronic fuel injection, of course, and a 5-speed transmission. It was beat, especially the windshield had the ex-girlfriend baseball bat treatment. Some of the side glass was smashed out. It was rusty and horrible, that kind of thing. But it ran amazing, and it was incredible for drifting around corners and crashing into the neighbor's yard. My secret hope is that this thing will be at least close to as fun as that thing was. But we'll see, I suppose. Believe it or not, this battery is dead. Crazy, I know. Don't see a date on it. Yeah, nothing. And they didn't knock the stickers out, so I have no idea how old it is. Old, let's just say that. It's got a clutch fan, so easy ways to test crank the engine, limited. I probably could turn it by the alternator nut. Sometimes that works. But the coolant looks like that, and you saw what the oil looks like. Totally full, not even that dirty, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna be fine here. All right, fine-ish. One big issue. I don't have keys for this thing, and I'm gonna have to figure that out. I've been all over it looking for a hide key. No such luck. Anyway, I'm just gonna put power to it for now, see if it bursts into flames, and we'll go from there. I'll probably end up pulling the ignition out, but let's see if that's worth doing. So far, so good. Wow. I also tried every random key I could think of, but no such luck there either. Yikes. That's all horribly dry rotted, and it's also mega sticky. We got dash lights, and I hear a relay clicking. Wow. The brand new power probe. The speaker isn't blown yet. It's still got the plastic on the screen and everything. I could be wrong, but I think this is the crank circuit for the starter. Let's find out. Yeah, good guess. Okay, well, it sounds fine, I guess. Sounds like a dinky Japanese 4-cylinder from the 80s. Here's coil positive. When I energize that, there's a solenoid clicking, so I think that'll work, maybe? All right, I got the key turned on. The Weber carb is distinct in that it has this kind of rounded rectangle air cleaner thingy. And it's just clipped into place, which is cool, but also a giant pain, especially when the clips go flying. Anyway, I'll pop this thing off, dribble some fuel in there, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully, magic. Pretty clean in there. This has definitely seen some miles, but I think this is actually a cleanable filter. Nice. I did take the liberty of sniffing the gas tank, and this will come as a shock, but it didn't smell amazing. Certainly aged gas. It smelled like it might burn. I just got a big whiff of the same smell up here when I pulled the air cleaner off, so that means the fuel pump might actually work. Pour some of that everywhere. Oh, sometime today. There you go. Nice.
Boom.
Okay. That was the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. No accelerator pump, but it's running on the tank immediately. Wow. Oh no! What was that? Chunk of paint or something? That was neat. Okay, I guess I'll fish that out. Got it. Well, most of it. Yeah, it's just paint. What's a little paint? It'll stay running with the choke closed manually, but there's definitely no accelerator pump and it won't idle. It sounds like a total turd. There we go. Nice. Must have broken the chunks free. Apparently the accelerator pump is external, which is good because I'm pretty sure it's bad. That or the passageways are just clogged. Actually, it's fixed. It just still runs like crap. Oh. Okay. Guess I get to sweep the ramp truck now. Yeah. So just like the K car, Mother Nature has done the muffler delete on this thing. It does still have like a resonator up front and a catalytic converter, so it doesn't exactly sound ridiculous, but it's louder than it should be. All things considered, this exhaust smells fine, actually. Looks like powering up the coil backfed power into the ignition, so stuff is working. Like the gauges, for example. We've got good oil pressure. The temperature hasn't moved yet, which is odd. Tachometer works. What a gutless turd. Apparently there's plenty of old gas to burn. Getting fresh fuel in it would almost certainly help the power issue. That's delightful. Yeah, now it just purrs like a little baby kitty. Are you impressed? I'm impressed. All right, 3 issues. First, the wheel is locked, of course, because I don't have a key, so I gotta figure that out. Second, the rear wheels are still seized solid, and I tried letting the clutch out, and it obviously grabs, but it didn't even feel like the car was trying to move, so I think I'm gonna have to pull these wheels and beat on the brakes with a hammer. Third, there's no fluid left in that master cylinder reservoir, so I'm gonna have to add some, and then pump the pedal 1,000 times, as I often do. It didn't really smell in here the other day, but it does now because I left the window cracked and it rained in here a few times. Kind of has a wet dog smell to it, which is not ideal. If this thing wants to live and like drive, I think I'm going to be obligated to kind of clean it up. I have diagnosed the dome light not coming on when the door opens. Nothing. Okay, I'm pretty sure the thermostat's stuck open. Notice the temperature has come up a tiny bit above cold. I already felt some heat in the upper radiator hose like quite a while ago, so that would be the issue there. Somebody just had to turn the heater on. Wow, this battery actually took a charge somehow. I mean, 9.2 volts, that's some volts. I think every Japanese ignition lock has been the same basic setup for like decades. Notice the break-off screws. There are no heads on those that you can grab, but with a screwdriver and a hammer, or maybe a little pry bar or a chisel or something, you can back them out of there. Of course, because I said that, this one doesn't want to budge. I was about to say that pulling the ignition switch itself is very easy, but then it fell apart. Yay! Apparently you can turn it too far, which is entertaining. Stay together. Perhaps some electrical tape. Anyway, that's great and all, but it doesn't really fix the whole column issue. If you ever read the warning on the handle of a snap-on screwdriver, you'll see it says warning, not a pry bar, chisel, or punch. I respectfully disagree. They also work as hammers, you know, in a pinch. I could drill them and try and use extractors or something, but this usually works. Dude.
The Immaculate Heart of Mary.
Incredible.
Purity and love.
Apparently there's a Catholic radio station? Well, that took way longer than I would ever care to admit, but I got one. Nice. Oh, lock cylinder? No, it doesn't have one. I did the delete. I could drill out these 3 tiny pins and pull it, but I think I might just take it to the locksmith. Let him take a crack at this thing. The switches are mounted off that, which is inconvenient, but anyway, it steers now. Well, I'm not actually banking on this doing anything, but I've got the rear end jacked up, and I'm gonna put it in gear and let the clutch out. See if I can free up those brakes at all. I'll probably have to do this the hard way. That's a really good chance, but it's worth a shot. Oh, yeah. Not so much. And there might be some worn out bushings back there. Maybe the diff is just in pieces. Oh wait, I got it. At least I got one. It's a nice start. Well, now we're here, and actually it's not as bad as I thought. It moves and then hits the horrible rust spot, so I'm just kind of gonna get past that. Oh, I'm sorry I looked. And definitely the deck on the Ram truck will never be the same. Fixed. Forever, probably. I thought this was clutch and brake, but it's actually just front brake, rear brake, and one side of that was empty, so that's a good sign. This thing actually has a cable clutch. Yay! Yeah, that could have been much worse. Easy there. Oh, come on. Yeah, it does roll, kinda, but the grabby brakes beat gravity still, so I guess I'm driving it off. What do you think my chances are here? Wow! Okay. Something. Oh, the passenger side shoots a little high. That's definitely some nasty fuel, but it's getting better. Even with no load at all, this thing is just lazy. Tiny 4-cylinder engine. Shouldn't it be like fast revving? Remember way back when this truck was nice? Yeah. The brakes are what one might describe as not good. What was this guy, 5 feet tall? Things need cleaned. Anyway, I did roll the thing back and forth, and they're getting better, but they're not great by any means. Aw. Power mirrors are dead. Sure. I'm slightly in a bush. There seems to be a clutch. That's cool. The plates are gone off this thing. I have no idea how long it was sitting. It couldn't have been too long, judging by the smell of the fuel in the tank. Again, not great, but not the worst, and obviously flammable, given that the car is still running. So that's cool. 98,437 miles. It's pretty bad tunk, 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 tunk back there, but I think it's just rust on the brakes. Yeah, I think it's getting better. These tires look like they were almost new. I guarantee that was a decade ago or more. Not bad. Just no power. It eventually finds some, kind of. Yeah, so far It does seem to drive nice enough. Kinda. Like a Japanese car from the 80s. All right, it's driven 2 blocks, so will it do a burnout? Apparently it will. Nice. Whee! Oh, the brake pedal. It's more of a suggestion. The intermittent wipers work, and the clock came back. Well, I've ripped it up and down the street a few times, and the brakes are clearly dragging. The only wheel that's at all warm, the front right. I don't think that'll come as a huge shock to anyone, the fact that a caliper's dragging after sitting this long, but still, not ideal. Vaguely smells like burning plants and rat poop in here, which makes sense. I mean, there's plenty of that stuff around. Overall, not bad. I don't know if I mentioned the charging system does actually work, which is great. It's gotten better. It runs nicer. It's just still very gutless. I have considered the possibility of a slightly clogged cat, but it smells totally normal back here, and it doesn't have that backed up tone to it, so I think it's okay. I know I mentioned the incredible resemblance between these two cars, so I went ahead and accidentally parked them next to each other. Yeah, there's more than a passing resemblance here. Now, of course, this thing is a coupe, unlike the fastback Capri over there, but still, the bubble window aids in it looking very, very similar. And of course, the louvers. A little bit of a letdown on the taillights on this thing. And the back window louvers, well, that's just cool. It just wants to be a Fox body so badly. They're both 4-lug. They're both rear-wheel drive. But that one is so 4-cylinder-y. These things came with the 4-cylinder as well. This particular unit thankfully has the 5-liter small block Windsor V8. Of course, neither compares favorably to a real muscle car, but that's a different story, I suppose. Oh, it's still running. So it's up and running. But the way I see it, it pretty much doesn't count unless I take it for a real test drive. It's mostly got brakes, the tires hold air. It runs nice enough. So let's do that. Of course, there are no license plates on it. That could be an issue. I've got the title with me. Yeah, it actually has one of those. So, you know, if I'm asked any questions by the local constabulary, I'll just hand that over and hope I don't serve any time, I guess. Yeah, the brake pedal does stuff. It's just not good stuff, really. And every time I hit it, well, things get worse. I already know fresh fuel would do this thing wonders. I'm not going to drain the tank, so that means I just need to keep running it, get all this crap out. I could mix in some premium, that might help. A couple cans of seafoam would also be a fine idea. It's so interesting. You hold your foot into it and it just keeps finding more. No level of that progression is ever impressive, though. Oh good, there's a funeral today. We'll keep the burnouts to a minimum, I suppose. Hopefully on this longer drive I can knock most of the chunks off the brakes. Yes. Wow. The TAC did not want to climb beyond 4,300 RPM. Why did they put the Challenger name on this? Why? Whee! Oh yeah, this fender's all smashed. And apparently if you try hard enough, the tire will bounce off it. Yeah, brakes are still dragging. In fact, I can smell it. Nice. Woo! Oh yeah. That's bad. Woo! set the parking brake. That's nice. Oh yeah, front right. That's unfortunate. Don't even have a hammer to hit it with right now. I'm sure this is obvious, but a dragging brake is not going to help the performance in any way. I think I mentioned the one shot I got of this car before I went to check it out in person was from this side, and it looks all nice. So I was like excited. This smashed area is very unfortunate, but I'm confident I could just knock this fender off and fix that. And I could probably kick the big door dent out with the door panel removed. Wouldn't be too hard. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it. 1981 Mitsubishi Galant Lambda Dodge Challenger Plymouth Sapporo Mitsubishi Sapporo in Europe. The official car of, I really wanted a Fox body, but I couldn't quite afford it. All right, truly, this is a fine car. Drives nice enough, goes straight down the road, feels pretty nice, rides pretty nice. It's just very, very gutless. And it certainly does not live up to my four-cylinder Celica level expectations, at least as it is now. I know the fuel quality is going to be a big part of that, and aged tune-up parts may well be an issue too. Heck, I could probably tweak the timing a little bit, and that might pick up a couple ponies. And maybe tuning this Weber would also be a good idea. I don't know, but right now it runs smoothly enough, but it's not impressive by any means. I wonder if it gets anywhere near full throttle. That would be an interesting thing to check. All I know is that the 85 LeBaron that I revived on the channel a couple weeks ago was surprisingly popular. I thought there might be a chance people would like to see this thing as well. I've already had one excited party email me trying to buy this thing because I showed a quick snippet of it in my last Turbo Valiant video. So by the time you see this, there's a good chance there will already be a deal and this thing will be out of the driveway. But if it hangs around, I suppose I will be obligated to clean it up a little bit, fix the door and the fender, tune it, at least change the plugs and that sort of thing. So, maybe we'll see it again. Maybe not. I do have bigger fish to fry. In any case, I figure I better leave you with a little snippet of rock throwing action. Sure, it's only the one tire, but what the heck. As ever, thank you very much for watching. And thank you especially to my members. There are over 50 of you out there now. I really appreciate your support. And remember, a free turbo will fix everything wrong with your 4G54B. Ooh, hot rod mode, engage. We'll find out later, I guess. Yeah, it seems right.